Hi, welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to the last of our Summerween summer nights. Thank you so much to Gabby Reeves, of course, for hosting this wonderful readathon. I had so much fun reading all of these thrillers, even if one of them was kind of terrible, but we'll talk about that. I chose 6 books, even though there were 5 prompts, because I had an alternate, and I did end up reading all 6 because why not? So let's go through them. So some books I already talked about in my first video. I will quickly mention them as I go through the prompts. For the first reading prompt, read a book in the dark. I already talked about Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera for that one. It's definitely a good one. Missed the 5-star mark by just a hair. For the second prompt, read a thriller or horror book. That is one we will be talking about today. And for that one, I chose How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. Paul, you taking notes? I don't really know how you came to your demise, but just in case. So this one is about Annie. She's living in Chelsea with her mom in this beautiful house that is owned by her great Aunt Frances, and one day Aunt Franny summons her to her lovely country estate. She has some paperwork she wants to go over with her and some of her other future beneficiaries. Great Aunt Frances, did I mention estate? Yeah, woman, very, very rich. The only problem is, by the time she gets to Castle Knoll, Great Aunt Frances, dead. And it turned out she was murdered. Yeah. So Great Aunt Frances won't exactly be solving her own murder, but she kind of will. She and her 2 besties in 1965, when they were super cute little teenagers, went to this country fair, and they went to this fortune teller and they got their fortunes told, and Great Aunt Frances's a bird and all this weird crap. Yeah, we finally get to the end and it's and your life will end when you're murdered. So Frances gets to live the rest of her life in fear and spends all of it taking notes on everyone who crosses her path, because any of them could do the deed, and she keeps them all in these massive filing cabinets. So what is Annie to do but solve the murder? Only she's not the only one trying to solve it, and then the murderer doesn't want it to be solved and they're also there. So yeah, good fun times. So what did I think of this book? This was so good. This was my favorite book of the entire readathon, you guys. This was the perfect Summerween book. Listen to this quote, right? Mum's house sits miserably at the end of a posh row of terraces, like Halloween attending a garden party. The writing sets itself apart from all of the other thrillers that I have read, and finally I get a voice that is so completely unique, so completely itself. I am just instantly enthralled. It does what I think exactly a Summerween book should be. We've got the thriller, we've got the macabre, but somehow things that could go unbelievably dark stay a little irreverent, a little lighter. They don't go full-on horror, which they could have in this book. I was just dang, this writer knows how to take something that we're all kind of familiar with and just continually thread it through this whole book and make it dark and twisted, but feels so familiar still. Oh, I kind of got the shivers, just a little bit. Every theme just seemed to carry through beautifully. If we had themes of substances, they were gonna get carried through the whole book. If we were gonna have themes of mental health, that was gonna get carried through the whole book. If we were gonna have themes of people continually trying to act older than they were, that was gonna get carried through the whole book. This author never let a thread go. If she picked something, you knew it was going to get carried through the entire book. It exactly stands on the line between thriller and cozy mystery. It takes place in this great English village. You know, the murder happens beforehand. We see one character, it's really focused on doing all the hard work, going through all the stuff, being a detective, doing stuff that a normal person might not do, putting herself in mortal peril at times. The dialogue is witty and snappy and funny. When we get those little privileged points of view into Annie, she is irreverent and she's got the one-liners, and then there were little riddles hidden in the book that I didn't even know were riddles, and when you finally realized they were riddles and solvable riddles, oh man, I mean, not for me, but for some people, I guess. This was the breath of fresh air that I was waiting for this entire readathon, and I was so glad when I got to it. 5 stars. After this, I had to read a book with the night sky on the cover. I read Be Careful What You Wish For. This had a few problems. Just as a debut writer, had a few kinks to work out, but I still enjoyed it, and I hope the author continues writing about this main character because I think she and her organization business have a lot of promise in the thriller world. Then the fourth book I had to read was the book with the 5 words in the title, which I know, okay, yes, names are words, got it. The Reappearance of Rachel Price. This was like a 4-star for me. The ride, amazing. The ending, not my fave. After this, I read a book that takes place in summer. Oh boy. Last summer, I read a book with a beautiful island sunset on the cover, and I really kind of hated it. And The Resort by Sarah Oaks. You know what? I really kind of hated this book too, so strap in. This is about a girl named Cass who is escaping her past. She goes to hang out on this party island, and when she's there, she becomes a permanent resident. She falls in love. She becomes a dive instructor. She makes great friends there, and all seems well and good. At least that is until she gets a creepy, creepy note, which suggests, her past is catching up with her, and a girl winds up dead on the island, and more to come. This is all in the summary. I'm not spoiling anything. And yeah, someone finally wants her to get her comeuppance for what she's done in the past. Oh boy. I picked this book because at the very least, I have been to Thailand. I thought, no matter what, at least I'm gonna get great atmosphere. They'll probably talk about how beautiful the scenery is. They're gonna talk about the Thai food, which is delicious. Thai food is some of my favorite, as long as it's not spicy. It exists, non-spicy Thai food, I promise. Everything was set up for this book to work great for me. Right off the bat, the writing was a little rough. The immediate problem is that the book ended up surprisingly having 2 alternating points of view from 2 characters that are presented to be very, very similar, Cass and Brooke. And their voices are written pretty much identically. First of all, having 2 characters that sound absolutely identical when you're giving me 2 points of view, what is the point? It's incredibly uninteresting to read. Second of all, it's confusing. Third of all, they should not have had the same voices, especially as we are presented their stories for the first 2/3 of the book. They should have extremely different lived experiences and extremely different voices. A way that would have been a lot easier would be to just take away the whole first-person point of view situation and write this as a third-person point of view book. Being able to zoom out at certain points would have made this book infinitely more interesting and so much less confusing as well. The pacing was also really rough. We don't get any major reveals until about 2/3 of the way through the book. We don't really understand anything about what happened in the past. And to talk around that for 2/3 of the book, I guess that's a skill, but some stuff happens-ish on the island, but honestly, that's not the main point. It's all happening because of things we don't know about, and it just got frustrating. By the time you get to the point in the book where the reveal about Cass's past happens, you've kind of figured out roughly where it's headed and how the tone of it's gonna go. And it just, okay. Yeah, all right. Yep. Okay. It's been done. After that, the book tries to pick up, but it just feels too little, too late. And the end of the book, I'm literally sitting there Yep, our main characters, they're all mortal peril. Wow, dramatic. Are we done yet? I don't even think I can explain half the motivations for what happened on the island. And it was probably in there, but I didn't absorb it because I just stopped caring. That's really bad. The tiny, shining star at the end was the epilogue. I got a little, there. But, y'all, this was maybe 2 stars. I actively disliked this book. Okay, moving on. We're gonna go with my alternates, which I did not hate. Okay, guys, this was just all vibes. This takes place in 1958, and it's about a girl named Evelyn, and she lives in this hotel that her daddy owns, and There's like this artist who is debuting his newest work. She is dating this fabulous, handsome actor, but like they're actually just besties. Like it's all fake. And she really has a crush on a guy who works at the hotel who's really handsome and nice. Then the artwork gets stolen, and then the artist gets murdered, and it's bad, and she like needs to solve it because like she's an agoraphobe and her hotel is in chaos and this is not working for her. And when she finally goes out to like help solve stuff with her very handsome hotel worker named Mac, someone cut the brakes in her car, so like clearly she's getting close. And you know how she like solves it? She gets everyone together for this big glamorous party, and all of the guests are together, and she does like the big like reveal. Oh, I loved it so much. This was like pure vibes, and it was fantastic. She was such a little glamazon. She was like kind of obsessed with Marilyn Monroe, and if you're into clothes, like I am, then makeup, like I am, this was a delight. They literally referenced movie costumes, actual outfits Marilyn wore, like her famous white swimsuit. They referenced how she did her makeup very specifically back in this date, like using Vaseline to create highlights. Like, thank God we have real highlighter now. I can't imagine that's good for your pores. And on your eyes, and like in the middle of your lip instead of lip gloss. They talked about the literal red lipstick that Marilyn was so famous for wearing, and of course Chanel No. 5. Like, everything was fantastic. All the outfit descriptions, like this was just written for me, and I loved it so much. But I think a lot of people could have had fun, okay? The characters were terrific and vibrant. We have a little girl there who I swear S.K. Golden was paying homage to Eloise because she shows up and she like befriends our main character. She has this little Pomeranian who looks just like a little bear, and I swear to you was my favorite character in the whole thing. He was there from beginning to end in every scene. I love this dog. I would do just about anything for Presley, okay? Like, I would give my life. Paul's life for Presley. Anyway, the writing was adorable, and it was very of the time period. Like all the slang in there, like swell and ginchy and keen and like all that stuff. It was there. It was really written to put you in the era, and the hotel itself was such a fantastic setting, not just because you get all the glitz and the glam and like feel like you're living this amazing life where you don't have to worry about anything because hello, maid service, like room service, everything, salon, shop, you name it, it's all there. It was part of the Prohibition era, so there's secret rooms, there's secret tunnels, there's secret hidey holes. It was the perfect setting. There's definitely more in the series, and I definitely want to check it out. I would kind of say it's more in the like cozy mystery, but it's a very specific like historical, fashion-y, cozy mystery. The mystery itself was pretty good. It had some twists and turns. Like, I kind of figured some stuff out, but other stuff I was a little like, oh, okay. It felt a little less apparent, a little less formulaic than your typical cozy. And Evelyn is just such a great character. And she is, like, absolutely the 1958 Elle Woods. Her trick is not law, it is finding things. She can like solve a little mini mystery and find like a missing purse, a missing kid, a missing anything on the spot. She found her missing mommy's dead body when she was a kid, so it started off a little hairy. But listen to this instead of what? Like it's hard. It is now. Oh, is it very difficult? The only thing that like was not quite true to the times was the way her agoraphobia and anxiety were handled. Like, they were not that kind to women with the issues like that back then. But you know what? I'm okay with the author deciding to treat that better than nicer, because no one wants to see how that would really have been handled. So, loved it. Thanks so much for joining me and Paul. Come here, Paul. Paul will be going on a shelf now, but never you fear. He'll be back next Summerween, and probably, if I had to guess, back to insult me during spooky season proper. So it's only goodbye for now. But we're both dying to know which books you read during Summerween, which books you loved, which books you hated, which books I convinced you to read or not read. But that is all for us now. I will let you get back to your book, and I'll be getting back to mine. That's a lie. I'm going to be taking down this tent. Paul says please like and subscribe. Listen to Paul. Actually, things didn't work out so well for Paul, so maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about. But I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.